Hello, my fellow mathletes. Root Beer here. I thought now I'd talk about what to do at the end and after the competition. Okay, so we're still writing the competition. Written solution, multiple choice, whatever we're doing. We're trying to fill it in. We've budgeted our time. We're doing questions 1 to 10. And something that we should always try and do while we're writing the contest: keep an eye on time, and maybe the last few minutes, go back and review. Now, I suggest this only if you think there's an advantage to going back and checking for errors, double-checking answers, double-checking calculations. If you are still in the midst of problem number 8 and you think there's a real chance you can get it, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and finish, take all the way up to the end to do that. But if you find yourself having time, and it doesn't even have to be at the end. It can be, you're stuck. You just don't know what to do on these 3 problems. Let's go back and look at the other 5 I did. Try your best to, at some point, review. Read through your proofs, not right after you've done them. Take a little bit of time, come back to them, read through them. Does everything you've written make sense? Are they full sentences? Can you follow what's going on without having to remember, oh yeah, that's exactly how I was thinking about it? Can you read it as though you are an outside observer? Okay, and so this is a great way to check for logical inconsistencies in your written solutions. Go back and another great thing to do is, if you have the time, go back and try the questions again completely and see, do you view them the same way? Do you do the same calculations on multiple choice ones? Are you getting the same answer at the end? So this is the best way to review. And it can, and for me it has, reveal some errors, even some basic questions that you skipped over because you were rushing at the very start to get through the easy questions in order to get to the hard ones. Okay? So try and make time to review, but then, okay, we're done. We're done the competition, and we're out. Then we hand in our paper. Make sure you hand it in to the appropriate person, the same person that everyone else there is handing it into. Or, if you're writing a competition or something up online, make sure you are submitting and that everything is going through, like the connection doesn't fail or page doesn't time out or refresh or anything like that. Do your best to make sure, because that can cause panic, especially. But now we're out. We're done, and so you'll have a couple possibilities. You might be all alone. Other people might have written with you, but maybe you're not the sort who's going to hang out with them. Or maybe you are with a group of friends. If you're with a group of friends, there's a great tendency to sort of swap answers back and forth. And this can be, I don't want to say dangerous, because the contest is already done. There's nothing you can do anymore. But this can be sort of emotionally draining, because you and your friends might differ, especially on a question that you really fretted over, really frustrated over, or really worked hard on. But just remember that, for the most part, there's no guarantee that your friend is right or that you're right. Okay, so compare, but do your best to compare in the lighthearted spirit that is a math contest. Okay, don't try and get bitter about it. Don't say, no, obviously you're wrong, you forgot to do these steps. Because then you will get worked up, you will get passionate, and then if it turns out you're wrong, you can get quite upset. I've seen some people in tears. So, yeah, still do be on guard that you've just gone through, in some cases, quite an important experience. If it's a scholarship paper or something like that, or your last chance to represent your country for the IMO, that sort of thing. And so, usually what I do is I will wait a day. I try and wait a day. Sometimes my brain won't let me. Sometimes I go to bed and I think, oh wait, that was the right way to view question 7. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm an idiot. And that's exactly what you want to avoid. You want to avoid, even for the moment, putting yourself down and saying, I'm an idiot, I don't know what I'm doing. Don't get discouraged, because then you might might be a little disheartened, and you might sort of shy away from competitions. And this can also happen when you're reviewing with your buddies. If everyone else got A, and everyone else got C, and everyone else got D for those first few answers, and you're like, no, I didn't get those. Even if you and your friends are disagreeing a whole lot, you can think, this isn't for me. Especially if, you're grade 10 Euclid, and you still have 2 more Euclids ahead of you. You shouldn't feel oh, I don't know what I'm doing, or man, I didn't make it as far as my friends. You want to avoid that. Write the contests because you want to write them, and do your best to hold on to that feeling. Don't let anyone discourage you even for a moment about it, because sometimes the best time to prepare for the next year's contest is right after the first one. You're already sort of in math mode. You're a little jazzed up about it. That's some of the best time to get your planning, especially because you can go back and review and say, oh, I didn't budget my time well. But that's the sort of stuff you shouldn't do right when you get out. As I say, wait a day or two, and then reflect and say, do I think I wrote too much? Is that something I need to work on? Or, geez, I really wish I had read questions 9 and 10 ahead of time, because you typically are allowed to take the booklet with you, and looking at it now, I think I probably could have gotten A and B on those two. By all means, if you didn't complete the competition, keep working at it. See if you can get question 4 on the high pay shaft, or it's over, even if you couldn't get it beforehand. It's great practice, even though you're not being timed and it's not going to count. And after a couple days, of course, compare with your friends. But again, keep it in a very lighthearted spirit, because you don't want to get disheartened. You don't want to get discouraged. You don't want to think math isn't for me or math contests aren't for me. These things are meant to be fun, and you shouldn't be competing with other people. You should really only be competing with yourself. Did I do the best I could? Did I do better than last year? What can I do better next year? And so the cycle of long-term planning can start all over again. Okay? And again, don't fret. Most people you're writing with are not going to be the people getting the perfect papers. So whatever they say is, oh, you definitely should have included that, or how did you not get this answer? It's this, this, and this. They're not guaranteed to be right. Wait for a while, wait till the marks come back, wait till the solutions come back, and that's when you can feel like, oh, I guess they were right. I should have done better. But not right afterwards. You've already worked yourself to sort of an emotional peak. So do avoid that, because you can get quite upset. So review your paper at the end, and then if you're going to talk about it with people, if you're going to review it right away, don't have any attachments. Don't be putting too much pressure on yourself. Wait for a while and wait for the actual solutions to come out to see how well you did and what you could have done better. Okay? And you can always keep your eye on that next contest, because a lot of you, there will hopefully be a next contest. Okay? So thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.